Okay, well, before we get onto the page, this has been a fucking rip-snorting start, so I don't want to slow our momentum at all, but I've got a bit of news, which I hope will excite some of the podophiles out there. Podophile Maddie, who you guys will know for, I guess, documenting the decline in her mental health as she listened to this podcast, she wrote in and said, guys, I've found an event that I really think you guys should attend, which was interesting. And she sent us a link, and it's for... Well, I'll just read you the tagline on the website. Harry Potter fans will not want to miss this. An evening of magic and wizards and quizzes.
Okay.
The Weasleys are coming to town.
The Weasleys are coming to... Are they Australian?
Wow. No, they're not Australian. So I don't even know how they're managing to do it. Now, it's not all the Weasleys. Ron will not be in attendance. But okay, a bit more context. So this is like a big quiz. It's a big quiz, I think. From what I can tell, it's a giant quiz. But in attendance will be some of the Weasley clan.
Are they hosting the quiz, or are they just attending the event?
They're attending. I'll come to the host soon.
Sure.
Attending, we've got actors James and Oliver Phelps, who are probably best known as the Weasley Twins. We've got Bonnie Wright, who is Ginny Weasley.
Wow.
And finally, which she was actually...
These are
like
some of the main
fairly,
Weasleys.
Yeah, some of the biggest.
These are the heavy hitters.
And then finally, Chris Rankin, who was Percy Weasley. And can I just say, like,
Percy.
most of these people, like, they've on like the banner that they've got on this website, they've got images of each of these people as actors and like as characters. So as the Weasley Twins, and then just like they've also got just James and Oliver Phelps looking like normal people, but they look like professional or whatever.
Do the twins still look the same? Do they just like dress the same, and they got the same hair and stuff like that?
Yeah, they look pretty similar. They got shorter hair, but they look, as I say, very professional. They're in suits in the photo. Bonnie Wright, pretty much looks like Ginny, just a little bit older, as you would expect. But I got to tell you, Chris Rankin, who plays Percy Weasley, he looks like absolute shit. He really does look so... He looks washed up, man. We'll post it on the Instagram, but I was a bit taken aback by it.
So he peaked in high school, are you saying, when he got head prefect or whatever it was?
Big
and
time.
maybe he got complacent from that point on and, never really amounted to much more. It's a sad, tragic story.
I'm just going to send you guys it. Have you guys seen the photo? I've just sent you the website. Have a look at him on the main page.
And we will post this on the Instagram, if we remember.
Yeah. There's a good chance.
Oh, wow. Wow. He doesn't just look old. He looks like haggard. Not Hagrid.
He looks like
Not to be confused with Hagrid. He looks really... like
he looks like a serial killer.
Some hard... He's seen things, dude. He's seen the other side of the fucking looking glass.
Wait, which one? Oh, my God. He looks like he's...
Yeah, pretty obvious which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, he looks... Why wouldn't he... He looks like he's made no effort as well. He's just wearing a sort of...
He's wearing a hoodie, I think.
T-shirt. And orange-haired people shouldn't wear orange clothes. It looks terrible.
I agree.
Sure. I don't have strong views on that, but whatever he's doing there is not working.
Who's the black guy in the middle?
Okay, well, that brings us to... that brings us to the host. So the host... so I'll continue down the page.
Black Aldi David Copperfield.
Well, I think who you're referring to there might be apparently Australia's greatest magician. It's the great Constantino.
Oh, the great Constantino. Wow,
so do you know who that is? I've never heard of that person.
Of course not.
Dude. Okay, so
why would they need
the great Constantino. But the great Constantino, who also apparently doesn't have like a high-res image of their logo, because on this website, it looks like they've just stretched a thumbnail. It's like the worst quality logo I've ever seen in my life. Maybe he could have fucking magicked up the better logo for himself. But anyway, the great Constantino will be our quiz host. And we're very excited. So myself and Nathan are going to be attending, and I think Podophile Rick, who you guys will also know, another famous Podophile, is also going to be coming with us.
Can I say, why did the organisers feel the need to bring in a sort of trick magician when there's plenty magic in the room, and really at no point in the Harry Potter universe do the worlds of sort of theatre magicians and the magic world ever intersect at all. They're not even mentioned.
I don't know what you mean, man. The Great Constantino is my favourite wizard.
And can I also say that it's fucking weird that the Phelps, the Weasley twins, as I don't know what 40-year-old adults still dress and look the same, as though their mum wants to keep them looking the same, taking them to parties and stuff.
I know, they still haven't
up.
developed any kind of identity for themselves.
Yeah, it is odd.
But now the great thing about this is, Andrew, I think you've sold it. It's obviously the hottest ticket in town, but what you probably didn't know at home is it's on a Monday night. And it's way out of Sydney. We're talking an hour out of Sydney.
Oh, we're in sunny Windsor.
We're sunny Windsor.
Not Windsor Castle. Don't be confused. It's nothing like that. It's going to be in Windsor, far out in Western Sydney.
We've absolutely got to make the most of this opportunity. So maybe even if the Potterfiles have any questions that they want us to ask the Weasleys. I mean, we're meeting 4 of the Weasleys, the real-life Weasleys. I mean, when is this ever going to come?
And let's not forget the Constantino. I mean, he might have a few things to say as well about a Horcrux or something. I don't know.
Maybe we should learn a few magic tricks before we go and try wow them.
That can be our question. So guys, there is a Q&A. We're going to be doing a Q&A, and we want to try and ask a question. So if you've got any questions, please write in. But maybe one option could be we'll do a magic trick, and our question could be,
where's your nose? Has someone got your nose? Is that a coin behind your ears?
It would be great if we could direct a lot of very specific Harry Potter lore questions to the great Constantino.
That would be so funny.
And ones that specifically about the Weasleys, that they would be able to give great insight into. We're just for a second, great Constantino.
That's an amazing idea.
Yeah, sorry, this one's for the great Constantino. Whatever did happen to Daedalus Diggle?
And also, you've got to prank the Weasley twins, because we know they love to be pranked. It'd be great to just give those 2 bastards a taste of their own medicine, I reckon.
Oh, yeah. And I think earn their respect, Reddit.
Oh, that's right. I think that's what they ultimately do respect, is to have the mick taken out of them.
Publicly, sure.
And also this Rankin chap, he looks like a very humorous fellow as well in this psychotic image. So I'm sure if we could play a prank on him, I'm sure he'd really appreciate that too.
This is also a quiz, isn't it? So
yeah, there's prizes to be won. I suspect we won't be winning them, but
well, it's not until April, so we've got a little bit of time to start training. And so over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be bringing back a few old games that's hopefully just going to get our minds working, because I want to win this quiz. I want to win the prize. And also we can get our photo taken with the real life car from
that's
the
correct.
Chamber of Secrets or something.
They're bringing the car with them so we can have our photo taken. Well, that must be how they're getting here. Because
you can't really travel during COVID at the airport.
No, I think Emirates is only doing a couple of trips a day, so it would have been very difficult to get the whole Weasley clan out. So I guess they've taken that beat up shitbox through the clouds.
Let me just get this straight. So there's 4 of these fucking losers are flying over from the UK to quarantine in hotel quarantine for 2 weeks to do some budget
it's
low
a
level
massive
trivia
tour
out at Windsor, and then what? And then just fly back to England?
They're probably going to bring the fucking UK strain.
Big time.
I don't want to get COVID for this. This is the worst.
I actually do. I reckon it's the funniest way to get COVID is at a Harry Potter quiz show in Windsor.
I'm not sure if you're getting it up in Sydney, but in Victoria, any time that there's a new corona case, the government releases their every single movement hour by hour, so you can see if you've been in the same place. Imagine yours comes out and it's
how
this fucking loser was it at Burwood at 4 p.m. and then at 6 p.m. was at Windsor for a Harry Potter trivia. This 29-year-old Burwood man.
Fuck.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's terrible.
Nah, I'm on board.
All right. Well, it's happening whether we like it or not. So we spent a lot of money on those tickets.
So there's a bit of time. It wasn't cheap, guys.
How much a ticket?
Let's just say it's pretty much we've paid Arthur Weasley's fucking school fees for this year.
I know you've got some news for us, Drew.
Well, I do.
Drew's news.
Drew's news. I do have some news. There's good news and bad news, Nathan, and Potterfiles. So a little while ago, you guys will remember we announced that we will be attending the official Evening of Magic and Wizards and Quizzes, which is a big event that's being held. I think it's being literally run by the Weasleys, and essentially it was a giant trivia night where the Weasley Twins, Fred and Stephen, and also some other ones. Ginny's going to be there, and that other weird one, Percy, I think.
And don't forget semi-professional Australian wizard, the great Constantino.
Yep. I mean, that, to be honest, that was the main incentive for me, the main attraction. Take or leave the Weasley Twins. Anyway, we've been talking about that. Very excited. We're going to go along. We're going to meet the Weasleys. We had a few questions we wanted to ask them. Unfortunately, I did get an email recently from Wowza Entertainment, who are running the event. And
don't tell me it's cancelled, Andrew.
It is not cancelled. So this is the bad news, right?
Wait, the bad news is we still have to drive out to Windsor on a Monday night, but it's just
delaying
the inevitable.
We don't know which Monday it'll be at the moment. So essentially,
oh, good. So there's the element of surprise as well.
Well, that's the most hated element.
I imagine that might be the work of Constantino, because he likes a bit of sleight of hand.
He's tricky. He's a tricky little rascal.
He's tricky.
So yeah, pretty much it's been rescheduled because of COVID. I don't know how they didn't see that coming, but
I thought you were going to say they made our money disappear.
Well, that could still happen. I mean, the money's gone, so it's just whether.
I do want to know what changed from the time that the event was announced, which was, a month or two ago, where they said this event was going to go on. If anything,
we haven't had a case since then, have we?
Haven't had a case since then. Vaccinations have started rolling out.
Yeah.
But at the time, we still thought, well, it's ludicrous that they'd still, quarantine's still going to be here for the next, foreseeable future.
Yeah.
What did they think was going to be the case, and what has changed now that they're suddenly calling it off?
Well, the thing is, right, I think that my suspicion is that they were trying to just sell the last few tickets really quickly, because they were running a bunch of promotions. Like our tickets were like 60% off or something, so I reckon they must have known that everything was about to go to shit, so they just wanted to get people locked in. But that's my guess. Anyway, no evidence for that. So allegedly they did that, because it's probably illegal. Anyway, but you know what? We love Wowza Entertainment, so more power to them. Anyway, so Wowza Entertainment, while they have obviously let us down in that regard, there's some good news, guys. So, for people who this is I'm reading now from the email. For those who purchased tickets post 1st of April 2020, which is us, if you do not get a refund, so refunds are available, but we will not be cashing that in. We will be sending you as a gift. Nathan, you're taking a sip, so I want you to put that down right now.
I'm about to spit
it out.
We
will be sending you as a gift a free handmade wand for every ticket purchased.
No.
As well.
No.
As well as a free photograph in the Weasley's car.
Hell yeah.
So, Mr. Ollivander is a busy boy.
Free handmade wand.
We're all getting our own wands.
I've never heard of such a blatant stick this up your ass than a free handmade wand. That'll just
stick.
About fucking do me.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay, so that's a bit of a cynical take. I was quite, enamored with the Wowza Entertainment folks for this one. I thought, Mr. Ollivander, I mean, he puts his fucking heart and soul into his work. I'm excited to get my very own wand.
Imagine if it's a real wand as well that actually does magic. You've made your money back at least twofold on those tickets.
It's a handmade wand.
Do we each get one?
I can't believe. Yeah, we all get one for each ticket.
What is handmade? How do you handmade?
That's what I mean. How could it possibly be handmade?
Snap it off a tree.
Yeah, is that literally what it is? It's literally going to be a twig. They're just going to send twigs to everyone who bought
I will
tickets.
say I am curious to see what the fuck shows up in the mail. But
I'm so excited.
God, a handmade wand. Well, it was all worth it then, wasn't it? At $80 or whatever it was.
So the new handmade wands they said they will start dispatching these in April this year. So that's exciting, and that'll tide us over And we can, we might be able to practice a bit of Alohomora, a bit of Wingardium Leviosa before the show, because then we can show up and maybe I don't know, show off,
impress the
exactly,
impress the Weasleys with some of your wrist work,
so to speak. So that's my update.
Wow, it just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? What garbage. Because I'm sorry, what a load of trash. But I bet everyone's fucking pretty stoked about that. Like everyone who bought tickets.
Well, I am.
Yeah.
They know their audience. I mean, I'm sorry. I know that you seem to have seen through this very half-assed attempt at placating an angry mob. But I reckon most people will fucking love it.
It's a very interesting tactic to placate an angry mob. You wonder if, I don't,
what if Antifa could maybe just settle for a bit of cheap plastic?
I love that. The Black Lives Matter protest, Joe Biden gets up and says, guys, stand down. I'm sending you all a stick in the mail.
Oh my God. Imagine that's what Trump said to his maniac followers when they stormed the fucking Capitol. Everyone return to your homes. We will be sending you a handmade wand.
That would be awesome.
They're fantastic ones.
Stand down, stand by, here's a stick. Anyway, I already... I feel like I'm not in the right headspace now to bring you this news, but it's news that I do need to bring you. I got an email during the week, and I've got some...
Dramatic pause there.
Got some... Well, I mean, yeah, you laugh now, but I mean, the gravitas is necessary because... Well, I'll just read the headline of this email. Wowza Entertainment shows cancelled and out of business! !
Cancelled and out of business.
And when you say cancelled, is this a Dave Chappelle situation where they've been cancelled for problematic comments and now they're out of business due to the PC mob?
This seems to be a more literal take on the whole being cancelled thing.
No, so people might not know what this refers to, but I'm pretty certain I've figured it out. We were supposed to attend a magical evening with the real-life Weasleys, the actors who played Fred and George, Ginny, I think, that one of the fucking crook older ones. He looked fucked.
Chuck E. Cheesley, was he going to be there?
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheesley.
It might have been Chuck E. Cheesley. He did look like he'd been chasing the dragon for several decades following those movies.
No. That was the great Cosentino you're thinking of.
And of course, hosted by the great Constantino, Australia's apparently best illusionist or whatever that means. And we were supposed to go. It was a trivia night. We had
all
our
that means
tickets.
is he's the most expensive corporate MC, I reckon.
He does gigs for PwC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, go on.
We were excited. We were ready to go way out to Greater Western Sydney on a Monday night for this with Potophile Rick and just embarrass ourselves with our complete lack of Potter knowledge. And it was a pretty expensive little shindig as well.
Yeah, how much were taquitos?
I honestly can't remember, and I don't even want to look it up because I think it was way too much.
Were they north of...
It was heaps. No, I remember it was probably over $100 for all of them. Like it was.
Oh yeah,
they did not miss
it was
you.
I think it was like $80 a ticket or something. Like
it was.
We've lost a couple $100 here for sure.
Because you bought 3 tickets. You bought 2 for yourself and 1 for a friend to come along because you guys didn't want to go by yourselves.
Yeah. That's right. Well, and we've covered this a little bit in the pod. Like it got postponed. I mean, COVID, obviously it was affecting travel plans and stuff. So they said, don't worry, it's still going to happen. And, to keep you guys happy, we're going to send you some, I think they described them as handmade, but I'm not sure. That can't possibly be true. Wands that they fashioned.
What happened to our handmade wands?
I've seen fucking hide nor, hair of dragon of those wands.
So you're telling me that the organisers of this incredible event, Wowza's Trousers Entertainment, despite charging an exorbitant amount for tickets, have found themselves in financial difficulties?
Yeah. Seems like they should be sitting on a lot of cash.
Well, you might think that, but I would love to read you this email because I'm telling you, this is something else.
They'd better have a pretty good excuse. That's all I'm saying.
I would say that their approach to this has been interesting, to say the least. I mean, firstly, let me just describe to you what this email looks like, because this is of course a business alerting their customers who they owe money that that they've gone bankrupt. So quite a serious thing. They've decided to color the whole email orange, and then they're using. Then the font is also colored. So it's not the most serious
they used word art
tone.
Yeah,
this has not been crafted by a lawyer, is what I'm saying. Anyway, let me read you out the email. To all ticket holders for Wowza Entertainment events, it is with great regret that we have to announce that all Wowza Entertainment shows will now be cancelled, and the company is no longer trading and has had to shut its doors! ! I'm loving the exclamation marks as well.
We shut our doors.
The doors are shut.
Doors must go.
All shut. No one coming in. No one getting out. No one
getting
money going either direction.
This is due to a number of factors, the main one being COVID, as well as artists that have been booked for future events pulling out of planned tours and not returning deposits in the hundreds of thousands of dollars! !
Why are they paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Cheesleys?
I know. We are extremely disappointed this is the case and tried our best to stay afloat and to still bring these shows to Australia in these extremely trying times, with COVID making us have to reschedule. The English here it's Rowling-esque, to be honest, making us have to reschedule these shows up to 3 times. We feel for the Wizards and Quizzes show that we have been stringed along. I think that's it.
Good Lord.
This is the actual email from a business. A place of business has sent this out. And again, it's orange. However, we feel for the Wizard and Quizzes show that we have been stringed along for 18 months now from management of artists.
Stop saying artists.
A lot of these are also capitalized for no apparent reason. Like, along for 18 months now from capital M management of capital A artists that wear WHERE to come to Australia for the shows, capital S for shows there, and then to just pull out at the last minute, in brackets and with a capital A, after months and months of negotiating, rerouting venues with a capital V, and paying more and more deposits to venues with a capital V.
Stop paying so many deposits.
Yeah, to lock in
venues
the tour.
further and further away from major conurbations, just more and more into the outback.
And then to put the nail in the coffin, they have refused to return deposits and have been made to them, has finally pushed Wowza Entertainment to have to shut its doors! ! Now, that was a bit of a mouthful, but
oh my god,
they're pretty much claiming that all the money that they sent as deposits just has not been returned.
From the nature of the letter, I reckon, like, even if they had all the economic and, factors blowing at their back, I don't think they would be able to manage a company regardless.
This does not fill me with confidence that this was a well-oiled machine to begin with.
And this is something we all saw the promise of Wowza's Entertainment early. We wanted to get in on the ground floor, invest, sort of grow this company. It seemed to have all the hallmarks of a good, strong, long-term business.
Well, they actually touch on this in the next paragraph. We are absolutely devastated that this has happened to us, and regardless of the trolls and groups that have been out there trying to claim we are a scam...
actual trolls from the Harry Potter universe?
I thought they would have welcomed the involvement of trolls.
I know.
That would have been incredible.
Regardless of the trolls and groups that have been out there trying to claim we are a scam and doing their utmost to discredit this company, we have always done our best to try and keep this company going and bring these shows to Australia! ! Literally every single paragraph ends with an exclamation mark.
That's legalese.
That's legalese.
Yeah. This legal jargon. My head's spinning.
The more you say you're not a scam, the more I'm forced to think you're a scam, because companies that are above board don't normally have to say I'm not a scam. People just assume that they're not.
And also, weren't all those groups claiming that you were a scam kind of right? You're literally writing to tell us that you're keeping our money. I'm sorry.
In what sense universe? Are you not a scam? You will have to explain that to us.
Yeah. Now, there's a bunch of other stuff. Oh, here we go. This is where it gets juicy.
Oh my God.
We are extremely disappointed with the management. I'm gonna have to stop telling you the capital letters because there's so many of them. Every third word is a capital letter. I just assume that. We're extremely disappointed with the management for some of the main actors who were to take part in the shows by them refusing to return their deposits so that we could refund our ticket holders. Please note, Cosentino and Bonnie Wright's management returned their deposits, which we used to refund as many ticket holders as possible. But unfortunately, our biggest deposits and investments were refused without any explanation and now have ghosted us.
Ghosted?
Ghosted us.
Your Honor, we were ghosted.
Yeah. We've been peeved.
Once again, should be encouraging the involvement of any supernatural creatures they can
exactly right.
get on board.
Well, they go a little further here, and this is where the plot thickens. We are referring to one of the major management companies, Hatch Talent, who they've named and shamed here, based in the UK, who represent the Phelps twins, who have continued to string us along with empty promises and continually giving us hope and making us keep working on this project to route dates that would work. And then after all the hard work our team have done to put this together, costing us enormous amounts of money, they decided to pull the pin without any valid reasons and also refused to return deposits paid to them! They are a huge company and we are a family-owned business.
Family?
They don't seem to care.
Family? They got the granddad. And
Yeah, I know. What fucking family is this? Anyway, the long story short, they've said that they've refunded as many people as they possibly can, but they don't have any more money or credit left to refund the balance of ticket holders who
thank
still have
God.
not received.
Were we one of those lucky few that got refunded, Andrew?
Haven't heard a word from them about our money. I suspect it's fucking gone in the pocket of the Phelps twins.
Well, the way I see it, we've kind of got two options. The first would be to pursue them fervently in the small claims court. Could be very funny for the pod just to run an actual legal case. Yeah. The second, the one that I prefer, is we could step in. We could be their Hail Mary. We could save this event. Yeah, it could go ahead. We can host.
Like,
it would give us a whole new audience of complete psychos. I think pretty much the Potterfiles and the attendees are one and the same anyway. What do you reckon? Should we get in contact?
Dude.
I love the idea. I like both ideas, to be honest.
There's a way we can do both. Can we?
Oh yeah, we can do both.
Can we gut the company? Yeah,
take with one hand.
Yeah. And then also hijack their event for our own personal gain.
It could be a potential settlement, along with, we want our handmade ones and we want to host this goddamn Weasley wizard quiz for the ages, whatever it was called. One minor hitch, just on their website now. So in order to, launch legal proceedings, we need to serve them, obviously, with the statement of claim. They don't have an address, which is unusual for a company not to have a registered address. They do, however, have a 1-300 phone number. Do we give them a call right now, see what's up?
Yeah, give them a call.
I'd love that. Do you want to give them a call, Nathan?
Should we actually?
Yeah, do it.
All right.
Well, and maybe just before you call them, like one thing I was thinking just then as I was reading through it, the Phelps twins seem to be behind all this. And I mean, they're obviously two of the greatest pranksters of all time, the Weasley twins. So I wonder if this is kind of like some elaborate prank that they're trying to pull on all of us. What could be funnier than putting a family-owned business out of, put them on the street? That's a funny joke.
That is a funny joke.
All right. Well, let's see if we can't get them on the line. So I think we demand some answers.
Well, and I'd love to know more about the sort of Weasley twin involvement.
Hi, thank you for calling. Unfortunately, you've rung outside our business hours. Please leave a detailed message and we'll return your call at the first opportunity.
Hi, Wowza Entertainment. It's the PMP guys. We're just calling about the evening of Wizards and Quizzards with the Weasleys and stuff. And I heard it's not going ahead, and you really disappointed us. Obviously, we were the first in line for tickets. We were waiting with bated breath. We got your email.
Ask about the wands.
Seems like we're not getting refunded, which is, absolutely reasonable and fine. Please feel free to pay off your various creditors with our money. But the thing that really sticks in our craw is we didn't get our handmade wands back. And if we could only just, settle this peacefully, if you were willing to send us through our handmade Weasley wands, well, then I think we can all walk away reasonably happy. Wait to hear back from you. My number's 04. Give me a call anytime. Sorry for contacting outside of business hours. Thanks very much. Sincerely, PMP, guys.
I'm glad you apologised because you wouldn't want to inconvenience them in any way.
No, God, no.
I'm glad you did that.
God, no.
No, that's funny shit.
This is why you're such a good lawyer, Nate. This is why you're a gun for hire in the Sydney legal scene.
This is what I do day in, day out.
These are the kind of calls he's making.
I've got another call coming in. Hello? President of PwC? What, you want me to defend you in a discrimination claim? Victimization? Yeah, sure. Call me back at business hours. I'm just on the phone with the Weasley quiz people. Wait, hang on. Something else is coming in. Oh, Ben Lee? What? Oh, you're suing us for defamation? Oh, guys, I need a damn secretary.
Oh, that's funny shit.
Fuck me dead.
I'm actually sweating from laughter.
Well, I guess I'd just love to wrap up by saying, firstly, I've got a huge amount of respect for the great Cosentino and Ginny Weasley. I mean, I've always thought that Ginny was just a woman sort of beyond reproach. And Cosentino, I mean, it just shows, I guess the real magic is integrity. And
that's the real source of his greatness.
Yeah, exactly. He's not that good a magician, but he is great.
Pretty average.
Pretty bad.
Middle of the road magician.
Yeah. And, I mean, have we mentioned he looks foolish? But the point is, he pays back his debts, and we love that about him.
A good magician always pays their debts.
Suspiciously, fucking hell. Oh, God. I wish I'd prepared for this pod sometimes. Sometimes I wish I had the salient information in front of me, but I never do. What I'm trying to say is we were meant to be going to this event. It was a trivia night. The Weasleys were going to be there. The bloody car, their famous car, was going to be there as well, apparently.
Well, that's how they were getting there.
Exactly right. That's right. And so then it kept getting delayed, right? And COVID-19. Fair enough. Very hard to get into this country if you're a Weasley. But recently, last week, we got an email from Wowza Entertainment. It was quite funny. Go back and listen to the episode where they told us that they'd pretty much gone bankrupt, and they pointed the finger squarely at the Weasley Twins and said that they'd pretty much taken the money and ran. Well, during the week, we had a lot of messages from Potophiles letting us know that there's going to be there has been an investigation into this, and it's going to be shown on TV actually tonight. We're recording this. It's currently 5:16 p.m. on Monday night, Monday the 18th of October, and this will be being shown at 7 p.m., which is of no use to you, actually, now that I say that, because this will come out tomorrow morning. So if you haven't watched it, I imagine it's available on streaming somewhere. But maybe I can just give you... I mean, there's been ads for it, right? So all the Potophiles have been writing in and saying, they're looking into it. And fascinatingly... A Current Affair have actually interviewed the Weasley Twins, so we're going to hear their side of the story.
Wow.
Well, this is interesting because we thought we were going to be the ones who'd have to go in and do the digging with this one and lead the investigation. I mean, I will say once again, it seems like Paging Mr. Potter is setting the news agenda. There's no fucking reason in hell that A Current Affair should be doing a primetime news investigation into the Weasley quiz thing. That's insane. That's even more mind-boggling.
The news has literally been for the last month wall-to-wall Weasleys and Ben Lee, and we have just set the agenda. It's not just the Batuta Advocate just blatantly ripping us off anymore. Now it's the mainstream media. Anyway, do you want me to give you a little bit of information? As I say, I don't have all of the information yet because the thing hasn't gone out yet, but there's a couple of quotes here from the Weasleys.
Sure.
So the quotes that I've got from the Weasley Twins, they're talking about Wowza Entertainment, who are very much in the crosshairs here. We've got two quotes from them. So from James Phelps.
And are the quotes in unison? Do they still finish each other's sentences?
Well, they're very much singing from the same song sheet. they're not necessarily saying the same
They got their
word.
story straight, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. So James Phelps, who plays one of them, says, not everything is as it seems about the situation.
Like it's an illusion, perhaps. Maybe one of Constantino's tricks.
And Oliver Phelps has said, really deceitful, while talking about Wowza Entertainment.
Was that describing himself?
That is very much sort of stones in the glass house. I mean, they've built an entire career and identity out of being pranksters, out of being deceitful, and now they're, trying to point the finger at Wowza Entertainment. They're just trying to, have a piece of that pie as well.
Well, that's right. These guys, they would know more than anyone. They would know their way around a bit of illusion, an illusion or some trickery, being both wizards, but kind of magicians. They're kind of like magician-y, and also pranksters, right? So if Wowza Entertainment have managed to fool the Weasley Twins, pull the wool over the eyes of these guys, it takes more than a bit of sleight of hand to trick Oliver and James Phelps, I'll have you know.
Sorting hats off to them if they have.
Very good.
It is an interesting kind of tactic, though, to pull a prank where I suppose the punchline is you and your family becoming bankrupt and losing your business and all your money, and nothing sort of happening to the Weasleys. So that's something to maybe bear in mind.
Well, and I guess the other thing is, like, on that note, I mean, I know that the Weasleys are sort of crying foul here, but it is quite hard to see how they could possibly have been negatively affected in any way. They haven't left their home, as far as I can tell, and they either have the money or they don't, but they didn't do anything.
Yes.
So
that's a great point.
So I'm not fully on board with them yet.
It's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out, because there's just a lot of, if not actual deceit, then a lot of potential for deceit on either side. I mean, if you did listen to last week's pod when Andrew read out that email, I've never heard such just crap in my whole life.
Yeah, real shit.
I mean, the way they informed us that, they'd taken our money, spent it all, and we weren't going to see a dime, let alone our handmade Weasley wands, was incredible. Yeah. However, for the Weasley twins to be doing business with these people, I mean, it doesn't reflect well on them either. No. So
last week's email, it reminded me a little bit of like if somebody broke into your house, tied you to a chair, stole all of your belongings, and then as they were leaving said like, pull my finger. But anyway, in my deep research into this matter, I did find a previous article about Wowza Entertainment from A Current Affair, because this is not actually the first article they've written, or story they've done, on Wowza. So there's a piece from 7 months ago, and the title is simply "Ticket Holders Skeptical Over Postponed Harry Potter Event." Well, they were right to be skeptical, as it turns out. And I mean, it's more of the same stuff, as you know. You guys know the story. Interesting. There are a couple of things of note. One little quote here. Melbourne mother and self-confessed Potterhead, Kate Howes. That stopped me in my tracks. What's a Potterhead?
I've never heard of it.
I didn't know about Potterfiles.
Does she mean... Yeah, maybe a Potterhead, like... A Potterhead is one level below a Potterfile in terms of fandom. Like,
is that what it is?
Yes, I believe so. But I take umbrage with the fact that this is a mother who's a Potterhead. I don't think anyone...
You take Dolores umbrage.
I take Dolores umbrage. Anyone who is a mother who's given birth and is in that sort of senior role in society should not be a fan of Harry Potter in any way, in my opinion.
No, well, she'd spent $300 on tickets for her and her son.
Oh, dear.
And I don't know what tickets she had, but I mean, I know we spent a little bit of money. We didn't spend $300.
This all sounds even stranger, though. Like, surely they jumped the gun a little bit by doing a whole expose on them at that point.
Well, I mean, they were right, though, weren't they?
They were, but I'm suspicious now. Are they somehow... creating news for themselves? I mean, like...
Ooh, are you saying that there might be like a Rita Skeeter situation on our hands?
It could be, Rita. It could be. The thing I just can't get past is how fucking small fry this news story is. How thoroughly unimportant it is. Yeah. How many massive scams are going on, at the highest levels of government, huge businesses, and the actual impact of COVID that has destroyed business and bankrupted people. And yet there's two major investigative pieces on this piece of shit that, to be quite honest with you, I never thought was going to go ahead in the first place. As soon as I learned where it was being held, some fucking RSL in God knows where, whoop whoop,
Yeah.
I kind of secretly knew that nothing was going to come of this.
Could you imagine seeing the Weasleys from the Harry Potter films in like Penrith? What a strange
made any sense.
series of events.
There's some sort of responsibility on the buyer, right? Like, we did not really do our due diligence in buying tickets. Like, surely some of the responsibility is on us.
Not sure that that's how it works. I mean, I think if you advertise something and then you just don't
do it,
give it to the person and then keep the money, I think maybe that's actually on them. But I don't know.
I'm not saying it was good behavior by them. I'm just saying it's not at all important.
No. Yeah, you're right. But one other, this is kind of a tangential thing in this article, because kind of what the main thrust of this initial article was around the fact that Wowza had never actually applied for visas for any of the actors, which looked a little bit suspicious. So they had investigated that. But this is my favourite part, and it's as I said, it's a little bit of a tangent, but a current affair, I'm reading now from the article, a current affair can reveal Harry Potter fans are not the only ones left disappointed. And Potterfiles, remember last week, Potterfile Kim wrote in and said that she had actually was meant to attend a Survivor
separate event
that got canned.
Yeah.
Well, there's more of the same here. A current affair can reveal Harry Potter fans are not the only ones left disappointed. Queensland medium Charmaine Wilson was due to be one of the stars of a celebrity psychic cruise organised by Wowza. And can I just say, I know that this is... I know you don't have the article in front of you, but Charmaine Wilson really looks like an absolute maniac. And anyway,
celebrity. Sorry, can I just stop there for a minute? Did you say celebrity psychic cruise? Did you say those three words in that order?
I did.
That doesn't make any sense.
Cruise. No. Well, it gets better. So it never went ahead due to the pandemic. Now, Miss Wilson was not happy about this. She said Miss Wilson told A Current Affair some of her followers still had not been refunded, with some tickets costing a few $1,000s.
Oh, my God.
Too much. And then this is a quote from Miss Wilson. A lot of these women were elderly and their husbands passed, and they were using their husbands' insurance money to have the cruise of a lifetime with psychics they admired. Now, I take her point. But is it not a little bit fucking rich for a medium to be complaining about pretty much abusing the trust of people who had lost loved ones? I think you're at fault, my friend.
Oh my
Charmaine.
God, there's just so much slime on all sides of this thing.
Can I do a quick tangent to the tangent? And we can
That's what this podcast's all about.
Just talking about mediums, because 9/11 20th year anniversary was... only a couple months ago, when there was... Let's just go back to that. Did you know John Edward did a 9/11 psychic special for the victims' families?
Oh, God. It is crazy that you can still have that kind of charlatanism in the modern age.
Oh, it's alive and well.
But I get why, back in the day, we just genuinely didn't understand a lot about the world. And somebody tells you that they can speak to ghosts and they use some of those kind of tricks that magicians use to, what's his name? That Darren Brown guy. All that kind of stuff. Or, he can pick up on things. But the fact that you could still get away with it now is crazy. And be on TV. John Edwards is mental.
I can just imagine him, because he's had 20 years to research victims' families and shit. Just making notes. Oh yeah, this will freak him out. Oh, digging into their family histories and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
That is mental.
Anyway, I'm assuming you haven't heard back, Nathan. Last week you obviously gave Wowza a call. Did you ever get a
surprisingly
a
on that 1-300 number that didn't even ring before it went to voicemail, we didn't get a call back, which I thought was very strange. And when a couple of the Potterfiles wrote in and said that this 60-minute current affair thing was going ahead, I did also try and get in touch with the journalists there to see if I could provide a comment. I mean, if anyone knows firsthand the impact that these damn Weasleys have had, it's us. Unfortunately, no dice. So, I don't know. It's almost like the closed shop.
Can you read us the email, Nathan?
I can tell you what I sent to A Current Affair.
I'd love to hear that.
I just said, Hi, I heard you're doing a story on a Harry Potter event that got cancelled when Wowza Entertainment went out of business. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan and a ticket holder, and I was absolutely devastated when I heard it got cancelled. None of this is false, by the way. I'm the biggest Potterhead ever. See, I actually did say Potterhead because I thought, Potterphile, that's an instant red flag.
Well, they might not take you seriously is what you're suggesting.
I'm the biggest Potterhead ever and even have a dedicated Harry Potter podcast. I would really, I'd be really happy to provide a comment if you think it might be helpful to your story. Thank you so much for looking into this important issue. You guys are even better than Rita Skeeter. Feel free to call or email me anytime. It's mental that I didn't end up on the show, but
so strange.
It's so funny. It's very odd. Yeah, so that's all there is on that story. I mean, obviously, we're all going to watch the show tonight, so I guess we'll have more to say on it next week.
I mean, I would hazard that none of us are going to watch it, but hopefully the Potterfiles will send us in a summary. Yeah. Oh god, the Potterfiles have absolutely come to our rescue again this week. We've got some great messages throughout the week. I hope
Do you want to get into the current affair stuff?
Oh my god, we should have really gotten to this at the start. I feel like this is the big news story that we've been following for the past couple of weeks, all about Wowza Entertainment, those dodgy motherfuckers who try to scam us and succeeded by
getting that money back.
Weasley Wizard quiz that we bought tickets to, famously for a very inflated price, went completely bust. We've been following this up, but then apparently, buddy, a current affair swooped in from beneath our feet and did their own investigation into it. I won't lie, me and Andrew forgot to watch it as we foreshadowed that we might. But thankfully, just before the podcast, Reed, you had a look.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it as well. I remember listening back to the podcast when you go, oh, actually, I bet we actually won't. None of us will listen to it. Like something that's such an easy thing for us to do, so relevant to the podcast, like uniquely relevant, like just critical for us to seize on this moment.
Well, actually, you say that, but I fully intended to watch it. But then I thought, and I was actually dying to watch it. I wanted to watch it the whole week. I was like, I wish I could watch it. But I realized it would actually make better content on the podcast if you were to tell it to me and I hadn't seen it, so I could react in real time. I just thought that would be better content for the Podfiles. That's the only reason I didn't watch it.
That's so funny, though, because you didn't at any point in this week sort of mention this or maybe even, chuck me a reminder to watch it so that plan could, go into action.
Well, I know what the kind of guy you are. I know that you're dedicated to the craft. I knew that you would watch it. You're a pro, exactly. So it goes without saying. I don't need to tell you. It's almost patronizing for me to tell, to remind you. You'd say, do you mind?
Well, I think everyone should be very satisfied with that explanation from all parts. So, Reed, what happened with this fucking report?
All right, so I logged on to 9 Now and watched A Current Affair, which is, I think probably they just would have been shocked back at 9 headquarters. Someone is watching A Current Affair on demand. I don't think anyone's ever chosen to watch it other than being
great
on in the background.
Great news for the advertisers.
Great news. It's one of those shows your mum just sort of has on the background. It's always on at 6:30 or whatever, 7 o'clock in Australia, and it's just sort of on in the background.
It's always on at bloody 6:30, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always. It's like they've got a regular time. For people that don't, like overseas listeners, how would you describe A Current Affair?
It's just news but stupid.
Foot in the door, cheap, like fucking infotainment news, where pretty much, every story is a massive beat up.
It's and a very sort of low-fi
or just an ad
stuff like neighbor wars,
neighborhood
or like
disputes.
Yeah, that's at least
very
50%
parochial and unimportant.
Sometimes they'll just have a story like why air fryers are like, we spoke to 10 people and they love their air fryers and these are the things they've cooked or whatever, and it's just actually an ad for an air fryer.
One specific air fryer. Yeah. Why this Samsung air fryer is so good. Everyone's shocked.
Where's the cheapest petrol in Sydney? That's probably been on at least 60 times, I'd say.
That's a good one.
So yeah, I guess it's kind of like a very low budget, 60 minutes sort of thing. And it's a bit of an Australian institution. And what strikes you immediately as soon as you watch this is they've come at this investigation into a Harry Potter trivia night that didn't go ahead with the same sort of seriousness and gravitas of like a Me Too investigation or something, or like, like
only got one
exposing
speed,
a violent
you know?
assault. Yes, they've only got one speed. And it's also with this one they've tried to make it like they've just got some guy, I think his name was Sam the reporter, who's just like this young, it looks like a real estate agent has just decided to become a current affair reporter, and he's tried to cram
That is what they look like.
They all look like that. Yeah,
shiny
it's so
blue
true.
suit.
Yeah, just a little too tight.
Exactly. Yeah. And the opening line is, if this was a movie, you could call it Harry Potter and the Cursed Fans. But this time, there's no happily ever after. A really confusing way to start. It's not a fucking...
It's not a fairy tale.
It's not a
That's a
fairy
dog's
tale.
breakfast of references, isn't it?
And then they just, what comes by is the shittest made, like, it looks like one of the photoshops we would make as a joke, like for the Instagram page of like Harry Potter and the Cursed Fans. It's so like shoddily done. Then it sort of crashes into... Did you guys ever watch The 100 with Andy Lee? It was like...
Of course not.
No, of course not.
What was that again?
It was this game show where it had like 100... it was like a survey of like 100 people, and they would all come. It was like a massive Zoom call of 100 people. So it sort of looked like that. They had like couldn't have been less than 40 people on a Zoom call. And when I say people, I mean fully grown adults looking like striking the most forlorn faces as though, you know, someone had just died, but they're all dressed up in like Harry Potter garb and like Harry Potter wizard glasses and stuff like that.
my
Some of them are like
God.
60. I imagine most, like it was like sort of looking into our listenership, but like being able to see them like right.
Can't imagine anything more horrifying, to be perfectly honest. Having them watching over us.
One of them described the experience. She said, the whole experience has been heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching.
Whoa.
Not being able to go. And I just wrote a few random quotes that they said. So the head of Wowza Entertainment is this guy called Justin Armour. Someone described him, they said, Justin is like Australia's very own Voldemort.
For fuck's sake.
That's exactly what he's like.
But for like these
Yeah.
like mega fans, that's like the most obvious fucking beat you could go for. Like
I know, that's nothing. That's
it's
shit.
almost as if they told him to say that.
Yeah. Surely they're more like one of the Gringotts Jews. In that they're... I'm just saying, if you know, I'm somebody that's well versed in Harry Potter sort of lore. For me, Voldemort is too obvious a reference. So maybe these guys weren't real Potterfiles. I wonder if these were paid stooges, because any real Potterfile would know that it's actually the Gringotts Jews were the most appropriate reference here.
Yeah, Voldemort didn't have a great like lust for material possessions.
no.
Exactly.
Whereas the obvious go-to for avarice is the Gringotts Jews.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
And their long
he's
long
saying.
fingers, claw-like fingers. So
For which to grab more money.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, Justin Palmer or whatever his name is, he hasn't killed anyone, has he? I mean, that's what Voldemort did. He was out there murdering. He was a genocidal maniac from memory.
Oh, that's like when they first introduced this guy, like Justin Armour, they go, if you thought catching the snitch was hard, try catching up with Justin Armour. And then they like cut to this one shot of this real estate agent cum journalist putting a phone on speaker, dialing a number, going, hang up. And then he just sort of looks at the phone, like, looks at the camera like, oh. Like,
that
you
is
just
the
tried
extent of
calling
their
him once?
journalism. That is absolutely
Wow.
the extent of it.
Harry Potter tried a bit harder to get the snitch than just that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, did you stay tuned for the Weasleys' comments? Did they end up appearing on the program?
did.
That's right.
I absolutely did. So this
Those
reporter
rat
Sam
bastards.
Those dirty dogs.
zooms in. He's got two of the Weasleys, the two leading Weasley twins. I don't know their names. I don't care to know. And I think we've mentioned it before, but there's just something like so pathetic about being an adult twin and like that being your
know.
thing is so lame. Just seeing these two
So
guys like kind of
embarrassing.
dressed similar, being like, we're twins. And like, it's like
Fuck's
fucking
sake.
grow up.
It's just pathetic though, like, because I mean, sorry, these movies, they were pretty popular. They're on TV every fucking night. They're on like Netflix and shit. They would be making so much money still from them, and they would have made so much money from them at the time. That's more money than you could spend in a fucking lifetime. Why are they flying out to Penrith, or not even flying out to Penrith, pretending to fly out to Penrith and stealing money from people? Like, I'm sorry, I don't care what fucking Justin Hamlet or whatever did. It's nothing on these cunts.
No, like the way the whole investigation is pitched, like it actually made me start rooting for Wowza Entertainment, because firstly I was like so angry at this like really earnest like interview with these fucking Weasley twins who are like, we just feel so sorry for like the hardworking, like, it's like, shut the fuck up, then give them some money.
Give the money back.
Yeah, give the money back. Exactly.
Did they ask him about that?
No,
about
and
the
it's
money?
like the most softball like
because that's the thing. Do they have the money or not? Because Wowza said they have the money, so I want to know if like did they deny that they have the money?
We're hitting on the only possible reason to conduct any of this. If this news story went off and we didn't get the answer to this question, then I don't know what the fuck we're doing here.
I mean, did they finish the interview with a practical joke of some sort, or was it? I mean, what a fucking joke!
At no point does the reporter even go near that question. It's like they've paid the reporter to sort of conduct this, which they very well might have.
It's almost like that. You're right. It's a bit like that.
Some other choice lines. If Quidditch was a game of excuses, Wowza's Entertainment would probably take out the cup, which I'm still trying to exactly pass through what that means. I think my favorite moment was like they do these character profiles of these people that like got scammed out of money, aka us. And there's one of this like professional looking lady, and then it's like a full extra slow-mo of her like walking up to a coat stand, like slow-mo tossing this Slytherin gown over her shoulders, looking like she's like talking like a kidnapped survivor or something, and then like holding up to the fucking camera this little apothecary glass that says Felix Felicus, and then it's like this voiceover that's like she's hoping this luck charm can change their luck because they need luck or something. And then they go through all the different like they go back to the Zoom call and they ask all these different people which spells they would cast to like get their money back, and then they're like, I would give him the Imperio charm, like I would say Accio Justin, and then they all like say, like they must have all made them say it at once, and they're all like Imperio Justin, and they like point their fucking wands at their
because immediately
cameras.
like when I like was hearing about this story, I mean it sounds like they've absolutely taken the piss out of him, and like you know often with these kind of stories, when the people are being interviewed, they maybe don't get a sense of how it's going to be edited, how they're going to be portrayed or whatever. But if they literally got them to do spells and things on camera, then they must have known that this wasn't going to be a sort of, you know, Frost Nixon sort of situation. It wasn't going to be Watergate. There's a bit more levity involved, is I guess what I mean. They're doing the Felix Felicus charm.
It's
I'm surely going to get to the bottom of it.
Sort of tones that come through the entire time.
Yeah. And what about that junkie fuck Percy Weasley? Did they get onto him?
No, I think they couldn't get onto that junkie fuck Percy.
That's a shame.
No,
maybe
probably
the follow up.
Yeah, probably hard guy to get a hold of. I think you need to know.
Well, he was a prefect from memory. I mean, this is a guy that, I mean, he really is beyond reproach. I mean, he's the kind of guy that if you are doing a story on any, again, misappropriation of funds, he's the guy that you want to speak to. His integrity is second to none. The Weasley twins, they're a couple of jokers. We know this. But Percy, he's a prefect. He's the one with the scoop. He's a prefect.
I mean, if that means anything, that title of prefect, and I definitely believe it does. I mean, if you were a high school prefect.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah, I mean that's like a fiduciary duty, isn't it?
Land. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So anyway.
It's sort of the equivalent of an OAM. For our Australian listeners, if you're not aware, a prefect is kind of like an OAM.
Yes, exactly.
So, Regan, I mean, as I say, I didn't watch the thing. How did it conclude? I assume that they got to the bottom of it. I assume my check's in the mail. I mean, what was the kind of finale?
Well, one thing that wasn't made clear is It's just no investigation at all into what happened. All there is just people reacting to like being like, oh, I don't have my money, or like, like there's nothing actually like where they've had made any probing questions. I've got no clue as to any timeline of events or anything, what deals went past, what money changed hands, or who has any money. It's just purely like people's reaction to not going to this event. It's crazy that it ever got to air.
It was literally just an excuse to make some Harry Potter puns, and obviously, like, Harry Potter must trend, right? Like on social media and stuff. So it was just an opportunity to shoehorn that in. I don't think they really gave a shit about getting everyone's money back. That's the sense I'm getting.
Definitely. One thing that I did notice, though, all these fucking nerds seem to have a wand. In every sort of cross to them, every single one of these mouth breathers were like, and they had this little like wooden wand. And I'm thinking, how the fuck were they sent out and we didn't get them? Like,
Surely
everyone
not.
seemed to have a wand.
I reckon these people had their own wands, to be honest.
Well, I'm kind of with you guys. I'm sort of on the side of Wowza Entertainment, and I'd love to offer them a right of reply if they are listening, because it seems like it was a bit of a hit piece in the end. It seems like not the quality journalism I was expecting. I mean, not to get in contact with them or even identify the basic facts as they could. I mean...
Ask any pertinent question.
I mean, I don't know what much more to make of it, other than I'm kind of on the side of Wowza Entertainment now, and they're people who have stolen our money. So, how do you like that?
So that's another.
Very excited to hear about that later. Oh my gosh. Well, look, we don't need to retread all this ground once more, but just very, very quickly, we had tickets to a very expensive trivia night that was supposed to be hosted by the real-life Weasleys, including Fred and George and...
That's such a funny
Ginny
phrase.
And, I know, it's just even saying
Weasleys.
it out loud. It sounds fucking idiotic, and I don't know why we're involved, let alone intimately involved now. I'd say key to the whole fucking story. Well, anyway, it got cancelled. The company that was putting on the event is called Wowza Entertainment. They had a farcical kind of press release about it that we all thought was pretty funny. Basically informing us that we won't see a cent of our ticket money. It's all been spent. But they
to their credit, we have not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're true to their word.
They're nothing if not honest, at least in this instance.
Exactly. Well, so it turns out they at least laid the blame squarely on the feet of Fred and George Weasley, and you know that's what you get for doing business with a couple of bloody larrikins like them.
Sorry, it is so funny that we're owed money by the actual Weasleys now. Isn't that insane? I mean, I don't know if it's the opiates, but that just really sounds mental now that you say it out loud.
It's not just the cocktail of drugs going through Andrew's system. No, it is a very, very strange story. Don't get me wrong. And where are we even up to at this point? Oh, of course. Enter a current affair.
Boo. Show enemy now.
Who, bizarrely did a whole story on this cancelled Weasley trivia night. And, you know, after watching it, we were all left of the opinion that we kind of switched sides. We're firmly in the camp of Wowza Entertainment now, after they didn't even bother to ask one pertinent question. You know, where's the money? Why haven't you given back the money? They had the Weasleys on the program and didn't ask them one question about it.
And there was to get us to switch, like we were people that had lost actual hard money from this, like hard costs. And the investigation by Current Affair was so bad and so shit that it actually convinced us to flip to the other side.
Exactly. It was so lopsided, complete, stupid beat up. Well, we all kind of left sort of feeling a bit dissatisfied with the whole thing, and I thought, why not reach out and try and just offer Justin Armour, who is the founder of Wowza Entertainment, just offer him a right of reply, you know, just out of, you know, fairness to him and to obviously the Potterfiles, who are very invested. I mean, you've been following it pretty closely as well. Now, a current affair assured us that this guy is harder to catch than a snitch. Well, I have to say I was able to make contact with Justin Armour.
It's incredible.
I was quite drunk at the pub. I stalked him successfully on Facebook.
What did you
And I
say?
shot him a message.
Can you
to
read
the
it in
following
full?
effect. Should I just read it out?
Read it in full.
Yeah, read it out.
Okay, I said, "Hi Justin, sorry to message you here. I've also tried to contact you via email. I've been following the situation with Wowza Entertainment closely, and I have to say, I was pretty disgusted but not surprised by the recent current affair investigation. Although I was a ticket holder for the Harry Potter event and was a bit disappointed it got cancelled, I don't know how these so-called journalists could run the story without so much as asking the Phelps twins about the deposit money they refused to refund or acknowledging the impact COVID has had on family businesses. I'm guessing you had the good sense not to get involved because it was nothing more than a cheap hatchet job. Not because, you stole our money and shit. But it's not fair to you or the ticket holders to be left with a completely warped perception of the events and no real explanation of what really went down. I host a popular Harry Potter podcast, for fuck's sake.
Now you're the scam artist.
With several hundred listeners, many of whom were planning to attend the event.
Several hundred? You're selling us a bit short there, mate.
Would you be interested in doing a very brief interview to put forward your version of events? I would love to have a chat with you and clear the air on a few issues. As I said, I've been following the story closely and consider the current state of affairs to be an affront to basic journalistic standards and the principles of natural justice.
Which you are
my God.
famously a stickler for. If there's one thing
Oh,
on
big
this
time.
podcast, it's the principles of natural justice and journalistic integrity. The two pillars of this pod.
That was the message. It's imagine getting that ridiculous message so long.
He must have been so confused by that because he knows that he's scammed us, right? So he must think that this is some sort of bizarre Stockholm syndrome where I've stolen this man's money and he's writing to me to say how much he agrees with me and feels sorry for the fact that I have been victimized.
Well, Andrew, I feel like in some ways it wasn't about getting a reply. It was more for just closure for us, get it off our chest.
Well, it's cathartic to
Try
send
and
that.
bloody move on with our lives. Well,
No such luck.
shockingly, just before we logged on to this Skype call for the pod, I did get a response. Honestly, I nearly fell off my chair when his name popped up.
I just
God.
can't believe he would ever respond to something like this.
Why would he?
Mental. It's long as well. It's detailed. So
Yeah, we've got time.
Oh, well, I
I
mean,
mean-
yeah, I'm in no hurry.
all right. Well, let's.
This is
get
important
into it.
business.
Have
I
you got
mean,
somewhere
like-
to be, Nathan?
If we have to skip the page, we'll skip the page.
All right. Well, this is what we've all been waiting for. It's all been leading to this. So we finally get our right of reply. Hi, Nathan. I appreciate you reaching out. And yes, this has been extremely difficult on my family and friends. And we have been made out to be a scapegoat for this whole debacle. And I really wish we were in the financial position to take on Channel 9 and ACA for what they've done to us. We have given them 2 years of email trails so they can see the runaround we have been given, and also showing that money that belongs to ticket holders has not been returned. Yet they refused to use any of this, as then there would be no story. So that is quite telling. That's
That
what
is
we
actually
suspected.
Compelling.
That's pretty fucking... That's bullshit. They've
that is
been
fucked.
provided with everything.
But you know what? I mean, I don't want to interrupt you because I know you said this is a long email, but I have to say, I genuinely am. If I had to guess, who's in the wrong here, I am on the side of Wowza Entertainment because, I mean, they're clearly quite incompetent and they've got an odd turn of phrase in all of the kind of correspondence we've had with them. But with that said, I can see why a current affair would create this kind of beat up because if they want to do this story, firstly, as we said last time, it's clickbait, right? Having any Harry Potter content is immediately something that people are going to watch because everyone's fucking in love with Harry Potter for some reason. I mean, we're guilty of that, I guess, to some extent, but not to the same sort of acclaim. But the thing is, right? If you're going to do the story and you know that everyone that's going to be watching it loves Harry Potter, obviously you're not going to make the Weasley Twins the bad guys. So they're always going to be in the right, and they're going to just fuck
That
this
is
small business.
incredibly observant of you, because I think you'll find that Justin drew the same conclusion.
Oh,
He
there
says,
you go.
Nathan, we've been
man.
completely screwed over by the media, and so I hope you can understand our fears doing any type of interviews, as we
Fair
have
enough.
found that the majority of Harry Potter fans don't really want to know the truth, and certainly won't be going against the actors of the movies who are
Well,
made out
fuck.
to be the heroes, when the absolute truth is the shows are not going ahead because of them, and they still have the money.
Well, he's definitely right on one count in that Harry Potter fans probably do have an aversion to the truth in real life. I imagine a lot of them spend a lot of their life suspending reality and pretending that a magical middle school is real.
The whole appeal is escapism, isn't it, Rita? Like, that's literally all they've got, because the books aren't any good. It's just it's a matter of pretending it's real. That gives it some kind of appeal, apparently. So Justin continues, where is the justice? And then my family is attacked when we've been the ones fighting to actually make this happen for more than 2 years, and now we're broke, and my name is Mud. Mudblood. The most offensive
That's
thing
what he's
that can
saying.
be called in the
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
In the media.
Mudblood slinging.
We will not stand on this podcast for this sort of low-level mudblood slinging in the media.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk one day when this calms down a bit, and I appreciate your understanding of this. Thank you, Nathan. It means more than you know. Cheers.
Oh,
So,
what a sweetie.
very heartfelt, quite sincere message that, made me feel
I'm
bad.
on his side, man. No, dude, I don't think we need to feel bad. Like, admittedly, not all that earnestly, we were on the side of Wowza Entertainment the entire time. But now, I'm 100% on their
I'm
side,
fully backing
quite
them.
seriously.
Well, now that we have the full story, I mean, firstly, I think we can put it to bed, but I'm not quite done yet, because
Well, you're like a dog with a bone, Nathan.
Well,
Famously.
now-
exactly right.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm gunning for a Pulitzer, but
Did you say mund gunning?
no, I said I'm not saying I'm gunning for a Pulitzer. Jesus, even I would say that.
Fuck. Sorry.
I think it's time to, take what we've learnt here, the shocking truth, and all get together with the Potterfile ring and put some collective action in place.
We should organise.
I've
Collective
got
action,
the
yeah.
contact details to Hatch Talent. They represent the Weasley Twins. I've got the email addresses of all the big heavy hitters. I think we should...
Oh, this is only the beginning.
Justice for Justin. Let's get it trending.
Yeah. Love it.
I'll be posting the Hatch Talent email addresses on the Instagram this week. Everyone who harasses them asking for the Weasley Wizard money back goes into the running for the Potterfile medal.
I guess what we're saying is we are completely endorsing all of your vigilante justice, whatever form it takes. We endorse and encourage it on a legally binding level.
Well, if we can help in any way as well, if there's something we can do to help you with your harassment, please write in and we'd be happy to oblige. Like,
I was going to say, I love the idea of us writing to lawyers, so then their lawyers have to listen to this podcast for their job. And then I realized the worst thing in the world that could possibly happen to us is that any
Yeah.
sort of legal
I was gonna
mind
say.
listens to this podcast.
that is worst case scenario for us.
I take that back. We won't be posting any of this shit. Forget what I said. Forget I said anything.
That actually brings me to something I wanted to
Keep it very professional.
I would love to hear genuinely from the Potterfiles about what their feelings are on this. Because to be honest, like we've had a lot of correspondence about a current affair thing, but nobody's really been open about whose side they're on. And ultimately, this is, in my opinion, a David versus Goliath style battle.
Oh, you didn't even use the Harry Potter reference that was sitting right there.
Oh, it's a Quirrell versus Troll battle.
What would the Harry Potter reference be?
Well,
A Dobby Hagrid scenario.
Oh, the famous parable of Dobby and Hagrid when Dobby slayed the great drunkard with his fucking pebble.
Strangled him with his potato sack.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear God.
But yeah, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. And I would actually like to get some answers from them, Nathan. Instead of just demanding money, could we also put it to them, just like ask the questions that a current affair didn't ask? This is probably an off-air thing we could talk about.
Okay.
Do they have the money? That was the main one. No one asked that. Do they have the
Yeah.
deposit money?
That would have been one of my first questions.
Yeah, I think it's taken as read now. I like because this Wowza Entertainment, for all their flaws, and there's many, they didn't just lose all our money. It wasn't like
exactly.
He didn't fucking drop his wallet.
He
He obviously was paying non-refundable deposits in the middle of COVID. Maybe you could say, at the very worst, it wasn't a savvy business move.
Clearly not.
But they still fucking pocketed all the money, and they still have it. So
that's the thing. I think it doesn't make... Yeah, allegedly. But it doesn't
Allegedly.
actually make sense for, like, as you say... How does it benefit them? They're bankrupt now.
They're not like laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
His life's over.
Like, surely it's better for him if the show goes ahead. Like, the Weasleys aren't here. It's not like they showed up and then Matey said, I actually can't be fucked. Like, it didn't happen because you didn't come to the country. He would have put it on. He'd booked the school hall in Penrith or wherever it was.
We're good to go.
Anyway, I fear that we're going to go... This is going to be like a 3-hour pod. So should we just quickly get to the page? Just really smash
Knock it over.
I promise not to say anything.
Me too. I did have one little bit of news for you guys. It's obviously about the Wowza Entertainment saga that just is never ending at this point. And a lot of that's because I just won't...
It's of our own making.
Give up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No one asked for it.
Could have ended many moons ago. Could have ignored that email.
I mean, arguably no reason at all for this, but whatever. I'm not going to rehash the whole sordid tale because we've done that time and time again. Go back and listen to last week's pod for context. But when we...
so fucking shit.
Would you want me to? I mean, we can. We need it.
No. I like it. I just have never heard anyone do that before for a reset. Just go,
when you just like get bored of talking mid-sentence. I just got that. But anyway, no, this is actually quite
It's
interesting.
really awesome when that happens when you're recording a podcast.
Just can't wait for this fucking sentence to end. Anyway... Last week, when we broke, we had just gotten in touch with the founder and CEO of Wowza Entertainment, who wrote us quite a heartfelt and earnest message, once again reiterating that the reason that this quiz isn't going ahead and the reason that we've lost several $100s is basically because the real-life Weasley twins, James and Oliver Phelps, were paid big deposits for this event, which they didn't refund. That's
Allegedly.
his claim anyway. This is not us
That's his
saying it.
claim. That's his claim.
Yeah. Well, I have been in touch with the Weasley brothers' management, Hatch Talent.
Oh my God. Well, and I think because just to clarify, I think in the original email that Wowza sent out when they kind of dropped the bombshell that they were not refunding any of our money, they did say reach out to Hatch Entertainment. They've got all your money. Like they've already name dropped them a couple times.
Oh yeah,
so
we're playing by the rules here. We're not doing anything untoward. I mean, you could say what you will about how earnest these attempts are to get to the bottom of this, but whatever. I was very careful to give the impression that I was honest in my dealings with them.
Oh, well, that's important. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you can always say that in court. You're on. I was trying really hard to give the impression that I was taking this seriously and that I wasn't, taking the piss. So we'll go on. What findings have we got?
Okay, well, I'll read to you my email to Hatch Talent. Let's just dive straight in. Dear Sir / Madam, I sent this to everyone in their organisation, by the way. And I'm actually not going to tell you the name that I sent this email address from because a certain podophile likes to take the pseudonyms that we come up with on the show and kind of adopt them as his own identity, and then we can't control what the fuck he does with it. So I won't tell you who exactly sent this email.
But
that's
if you know, you know.
Dear Sir, Madam, Evening of Magic Wizards and Quizzards. I'm writing to you in my capacity as chair of the Weasley Reparations Action Group. We are a grassroots organisation representing the interests of Australian ticket holders for the cancelled Evening of Magic Wizards and Quizzes event. I understand you represent the actors James and Oliver Phelps. We are determined to understand why the ticket holders have been left penniless, twiddling our thumbs and whistling do-do-do-do-do. While your clients have purportedly received large sums of money for an event that simply did not eventuate. According to a press release by the organisers, Wowza Entertainment, the Weasley Twins were paid deposits that they did not return, thereby denying the ticket holders any hope of a refund. As such, could you please confirm for the record, 1. Did the Phelps Twins or your organisation receive deposit money from Wowza Entertainment, and if so, in what sum? 2. Will the Phelps Twins or your organisation commit to refunding ticket holders or any other form of compensatory action? And 3. Was there a commercial arrangement in place between your organisation and the Phelps Twins and Channel 9/A Current Affair for that god-awful report that aired in October 2021? I await your urgent response, Chair Weasley Reparations Action Group.
I'm not sure that they have to disclose the sums that they've been paid. I like that you included that. Tell us exactly how much money you were paid.
Well, congrats, Nathan, on the chairmanship, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Bravo.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought position to, attain. But what do people think when I send them these emails? Like, what would you make of that? It's your actual job. You log in on a Monday morning, and it's so stupid yet formal. I just don't know what must have been going in their heads. Through their heads.
Yeah, it's pretty sort of disarming, I reckon, that email. Because as you say, it's a real witch's brew of kind of tones. It's just like, what was there? Something about whistling Dixie, but then also it's a fairly, litigious email as well.
Pointed. So anyway, shockingly, I did get a response. So a lot of credit to Hatch Talent. Let me read it to you and then just get your thoughts on where we're up to. Mm-hmm. So this comes from Michael.
Good to name him.
Thank you for your email. I'm sure he was really grateful for that one.
Fuck yeah, we care.
Thank you so much.
Last Sunday, we were made aware that Wowza Entertainment had filed for bankruptcy and cancelled their tours. We are saddened that the events cannot take place and deeply sympathetic to any losses caused to ticket holders by Wowza's bankruptcy. We have since seen a copy of the email from Wowza to ticket holders, which makes a number of very serious allegations against Hatch Talent.
And definitely does. I haven't seen that myself.
And a number of grave spelling errors.
Yeah. Very serious crimes against grammar. And suggest that those seeking refunds should contact us, as you said, Drew. We strongly refute the claims made by Wowza. They're simply not true. We understand that tickets were purchased through Wowza, and therefore those seeking refunds need to do so from Wowza or its management. Kind regards, Michael.
Okay.
So any thoughts?
Well, my first thought was a bit rude they didn't address you as Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. He didn't work his whole life to become the chairman of the Weasley Reparations Action Group or whatever to be called Mr. But also... I mean, it was quite vague, right? I mean, he sort of said we deny vaguely everything in that email, which, to be fair, there was a lot of allegations in that email. I'm sure there were some of those things that you could definitely deny on safe legal ground, but he certainly didn't come to your 3 points that you specifically asked him, did he?
Well, I'm glad you made that observation because I have sent one more response.
You're nothing if not diligent.
Let's see how this one goes. I'll let you know if we do receive something on next week's pod. But I responded, thank you very much for your response, Michael. While I note the contents of your email, I'd like to offer Hatch another opportunity to respond to the questions as posed.
Love it.
Although it is clear Hatch disputes the claims made by Wowza, some may nonetheless draw adverse conclusions if these issues aren't clarified. So I was hoping you may be able to clear the air. We will seek to pursue compensation through Wowza directly, as you have suggested. Good fucking luck with that.
Yeah, as noted in your email, they have declared bankruptcy.
Yeah. We will beat to death the dead horse that is fucking Wowza Entertainment. We are simply seeking to understand the circumstances which led to the unfortunate situation in which we now find ourselves. For your reference, the outstanding questions are 1. Did the Phelps twins or your organization receive deposit money from Wowza Entertainment, and if so, in what sum? And 2, was there a commercial arrangement in place between your organization and a current affair regarding their broadcast? And I've given them until Friday, the 19th of November to reply.
Oh, yeah, or what? What did you threaten them with if they haven't replied?
Well, as I said, I mean, I think the Potophiles will not look favourably upon them, and that is a fate worse than death.
Or to be looked unfavourably upon by the fucking miscreant morons that listen to this podcast. Well, that is a fate worse than death.
But you have to wonder why they wouldn't just say no. If obviously they did receive deposit money, like we're pretty certain of that, and as you said, they have no obligation to disclose their business transactions to us. But why wouldn't you just say, no, we had nothing to do with that Channel 9 stupid broadcast?
Yeah, I know. That bit surely you can deny.
Literally paid for. So
it's the only conclusion I can draw is that they think that replying to your email sensibly is not worth the time of day.
And
which
that's
should be
a hell of a conclusion. Yeah, that's
to
just
draw.
Crazy. That is crazy.
I mean, that's amazing.
Do I need
detective
to
work.
introduce myself again as the Weasley chairman of whatever the fuck?
You mean my bogus committee that I started with 0 members and only a chair doesn't have the gravitas? and in fairness, he did even bother to reply once. So,
well, Nathan, I'm sort of with you. I think, we have like an army behind us of nerds and incels and podophiles who are just waiting there, ready to wreak havoc. We just need to say the word. So I would never, of course, threaten anybody in any sense ever. But I'm just saying that they are sitting there, and if we ever needed to, we could simply say the word and unleash hell upon whoever or whatever management group.
I kind of imagine like Nathan, standing on the battlefield. I sort of like in Lord of the Rings, all the orcs are behind him and they're kind of just ready to go. And that's our Potophile army. It's just these sort of forged in the in the darkest corners of Sauron or whatever, ready to go for the Weasley twins.
I mean, don't forget, these are people who have embraced the term of potophile to describe them. They've joined the literal potophile ring with vigor and enthusiasm. I mean, these are some of the foulest creatures, man.
Oh, you wouldn't cross the road to save them. Just some of the... Yeah.
All right. Draw a line under that. Yes, let me tell you about my ridiculous fucking wild goose chase yesterday. So, long-time listeners of the pod will remember that for much of last year, we got a lot of weeks of content out of this, but we bought tickets to a Harry Potter-themed trivia event. We spent probably, I think, $250 on it. Very expensive.
Yeah.
The real-life Weasley actors were supposed to appear there, Fred and George and Ginny and a few others. And it was all put on by this very dodgy company called Wowza Entertainment. So long story short, Wowza Entertainment went completely bust. We lost all our money. They blamed the Weasley Twins, saying that they'd paid them huge deposits that they wouldn't refund. The Weasley Twins then went on Australian TV on A Current Affair and completely denied all that.
But they never denied. They never denied that they didn't give the deposits back, right?
No, and that was
they
the
never said they gave
conspicuous
that
thing
back.
about the whole thing. Like, they weren't asked by the journalists. They didn't mention it.
The journalist it seemed to be a 17-year-old boy who was working for.
I was going to say journalist.
Yeah.
It's very generous.
An apprentice real estate agent looking motherfucker.
A future real estate agent, I suspect.
Anyway, so on Friday night, I was just speaking to my mum, and she's a big listener of the pod for whatever reason. Still don't, don't fully understand that. But
hi, Sharon, but what's going on there?
She did mention she saw an ad on Channel 9 for A Current Affair saying that the Weasleys were fucking back on. So I was like, okay, make a mental note of that.
Fucking huge.
I'll watch that over the weekend and have something to talk about on today's pod. So then on Sunday afternoon around 1 o'clock, and the timing's kind of important, I watched this, another current affair interview. Same fucking cuck journalist.
Who the fuck is watching a current affair interviews at 1 p.m. on a sunny Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, I was already wasting my weekend.
But you would have had to be watching it on catch up.
Yeah, 9 now on demand.
Yeah, that's not when it's aired, surely.
Fuck no.
Who is tuning in?
You were the only person streaming that at that time.
I think I'm the only one who still cares about this. But this, for me, this is my whole, reason for existing. This is my, I'm like Erin Brockovich. This is I'm fighting the good fight.
Only in the sense that you're wildly underqualified.
I can't remember the premise of that movie too well.
I just remember she had a cause or something. It was about her and she had a cause.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is my cause. So, of course, I watched the interview. All the same bullshit, all the same recriminations. Oh, Wowza did this and that and we didn't.
Oh, they're still talking about that?
Still talking about that.
That was so long ago.
How is that still on the news? What?
It's
even
mental.
I'd forgotten about it and I was
We're
the
not
victim.
even talking about Ukraine anymore.
No.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Nothing on
Wowzers?
COVID. No Ukraine. All about Wowza Entertainment. It's only me and Channel 9. We're the only people who care about this shit. So anyway, the one new piece of information was that the Weasleys were actually in Sydney, appearing at a Comic-Con type event called Supernova, and they were going to be doing a Q&A.
Ooh. Imagine that is an event that would attract a lot of our listeners.
Well, it even sometimes attracts some of the hosts of the podcast, Reardon. So I went straight on Supernova's website. Remember, this is about maybe 1:15 by now. And noticed that the Weasleys Q&A was at 2 p.m. So I messaged you guys. Reardon's in Melbourne. Andrew, had bigger fish to fry. It's probably fair to say. So then I had no choice. I instantly got a ticket. I asked Cassie, my girlfriend.
How much were tickets, may I ask?
Ooh, $35, as a matter of fact.
Oh my God, wait. And so I imagine
well spent.
Cassie's not paying for hers, so that's $70.
Well, I just said, quick, I'm getting you a ticket. You got to come with me to this Weasley thing. It's way out at the Sydney, the showground.
Lucky
she
girl
said, fuck off. She said, fucking shut up, go away. I was like, fair enough. So I quickly got dressed, probably 1:30 by now. I rushed into my car. I called Podophile James Pereira on the way because he lives near Sydney Olympic Park. I said, dude, how quick can you get there? He said, what are you talking about? Don't think I can make it.
There's no time to explain.
It was all very frantic. Anyway, finally arrive at this Supernova event. Find the place. It's kind of like, if I could describe it, it was like if you've ever been to Paddy's Market.
Of course.
But in a tiny corner of... It was like the Easter show, very, very small version of the Easter show. Few crappy
a flea
stalls.
market for our American listeners.
Very disappointing. There was no extravagant. If you look at some of the Comic-Con shit and people go full out with the cosplay and it's not my world, but would have liked to have seen some of that for $35.
Yeah, it's quite glamorous and
there was absolutely none of that. But there was an incredibly long line.
Nice.
For what turned out to be the Q&A with Fred and George Weasley.
Is this just
Oh
for
my
people
God.
to ask questions or simply to get in?
So this was to get into the Q&A. And there had to be at least 500 people.
You are
This was all a bit of a
kidding me.
whirlwind for me. Because I made this
So
snap...
hold on. So who else was there? Because this wasn't just the Fred
Great
and George
question.
Weasley show.
That's a good question.
Who were the other acts?
Let's have a look. Supernova.
And Nathan, what sort of demographic of...
Sorry, I thought you might have known, having been there. Got to look it up.
I mean, we can look it up. I mean, you were there.
Yeah, sorry.
Look, it wasn't anyone that I recognized, but I was laser focused. So, I was a man on a
Sure,
mission. I
sure.
didn't have time to meet and
Oh, I know
greet.
when you get like that, you can't be stopped.
You had the blinders on.
I had the tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And I was pointing directly towards the Weasley. So
You're
anyway,
like when a horse bolts, all he can see is Fred and George Weasley in his vision. So he goes deaf for, half an hour. As he
Nathan,
Seeking about
famously
a
focused
homing
and
missile.
determined person.
yeah, if I applied that to even one other aspect of my life. Just imagine how different things could be for me. Anyway, so I finally get in. I got a really good seat, like right on the aisle and near the front.
Yeah, love that.
I mean, the crowd was obviously a lot of children and happy families and people dressed up in the Potter gear. A really like a good vibe. And that's when I started to panic because I had nothing but sort of negativity to bring to this thing.
Malice. Hatred.
And then
grievance.
The MC comes out. And this was no Reed and Lee at a wedding MC. This was...
was it the great Constantino? Whatever the fuck
it may as well have been, Andrew. I felt like I'd been transported to that Wowza Entertainment trivia night. But some of the worst crowd work I've ever heard. So he did the whole, like, are you ready? I can't hear you, la, la, la.
Oh,
and
God.
then here they are. Fred and George, he didn't call them that. He called them their actual names, which escaped me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what the fuck are their names?
The Phelps
Aren't they
twins.
the Norris twins or something?
I think
The
it's
Phelps twins.
Yeah, Michael Phelps, legendary swimmer.
Yeah, Michael
and
Phelps.
I think Oliver. So Oliver and Michael Phelps. Yay! The crowd goes wild. They come out. Then the MC goes, "Oh, so what have you been doing like while you've been in Sydney?" And they said, "Oh, we actually saw an AFL game at this very stadium," and like pointed, to Sydney Olympic Park.
Lame.
And that's when I knew they were losing the crowd already. Like,
Yeah, this
why
is
are you
Sydney.
talking
You're in
about sport?
Homebush.
No one had even heard of AFL.
Yeah, you're talking to a bunch of nerds in Sydney, so there's double whammy there.
It's like Quidditch on the ground.
It was a very kind audience, and they were already losing them. And then Fred Weasley or one of them goes, so the MC asks, "Do you guys follow sport normally?" So he's digging even deeper into sport.
Oh my God.
And then Fred goes, "Yeah, I'm a big Aston Villa fan."
oh, come
Like,
on,
as
brother.
Come on, dude. In
Read
the
the
crowd.
room.
Read the room, dude.
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, indeed. Where even is that? I don't even know.
Yeah, so they were lucky I was there because I had heard of that. Was the only one.
Nathan's whispering to everyone around him, "That's a soccer team. That's a soccer team. That's a soccer team."
But then the questions started, and I was trying earnestly, like very, very hard to get this guy's attention because I'd sunk a lot into this. I mean,
Yeah.
$35, wasted my whole Sunday, embarrassing. You guys,
I'm
knew
kind of
about
imagining, like during, the peak of COVID when we're having the daily press conferences and the health minister and the premier often would be getting grilled by the audience. Is that the kind of thing? Was that the kind of, was that antagonistic?
Were you Peter
sort of
Credlin v. Dan Andrews?
Exactly.
Let me give you guys an idea of some of the bloody softball questions they got. So this little girl, couldn't have been more than 6, gets up like a bloody idiot and goes,
Oh my God.
was it fun on set? Did you have fun?
Fucking.
And then
come
Fred
on.
Weasley goes, "Well, what an incredibly pertinent question. Thank you for
It's
asking
not pertinent
that."
at all.
Yes,
How old is it?
It was fun. Fucking bullshit.
Whatever you think of that question, it's not pertinent. That to me, I hate. I know I'm a bit of a cynic, but that to me almost sounds like a Dorothy Dixer. Did they plant a 6-year-old in the audience? Was that a prepared question?
Yeah, it was an absolute sitter, and he knocked it out of the park. But then another guy asked, this is how ill-prepared some of these crowd members were. He asked, "Are there any lines in the movies that you wish you'd ad-libbed?"
What does
Can you figure out what that means?
What a fucking stupid question.
Does it mean like? Okay, so is he asking? Are the lines that he said he wished he came up with in the moment? Because in which case, who cares? It doesn't matter if you thought of it in the moment.
Yeah, it makes no difference to the product.
It was the worst question I've ever... They had they just said, "I don't know what that means." Like,
Yeah, because the only other interpretation of that question is, are there any lines in the movie that you didn't like, But he couldn't have in his mind a line because then that wouldn't be an ad lib. So he just would have to believe that he could have improved on the script in the moment. So it's a very specific question.
And remembered.
And are
fucking crazy.
Are they famed improvisers, the Phelps twins? I don't imagine seeing any of them on SNL or anything like
Who's
that.
Line?
No, Who's
No,
Line?
written? Honestly, no. Like I would say this, they seem like quite warm, nice, but very, very ordinary people.
Yeah,
like
well,
zero
Let's be
star
fucking
power.
honest about this. They happened to look the same and have red hair.
Yeah.
That's why they're famous.
It's hard to get
They
twins
needed
the
two
right
fucking
age.
redheaded twins. Yeah, like they were the right age. They have red hair and they happen to be twins. I mean,
Yeah.
that is the fucking full list of their talents.
Absolutely. There was zero charisma or like, any star power or anything like that. I just remembered another question. There were twins, these two girls, and they said something like, they were kind of asking about the twin telepathy thing, but they were like, do you ever think the same thing on set? Like all the questions,
so specific.
they all added on set, like to whatever question.
Yeah, that's...
Were there any
You could ask
romances
any
on set?
twin that.
And once again, they couldn't answer, so they had to start just like
And that
just
would
telling stories and stuff.
It would be an unwatchable
no.
movie if the twins, every time they talk to each other, are just using telepathy to talk, because we can't,
Yeah.
as non-twins, know what they're saying.
Yeah, it's hard for that to play out sort of, through the narrative, but a fucking great question from that
absolutely
idiot.
fucking crazy.
So when did you get to ask yours?
Look, well, the whole time as this thing was going on, with all these like softball question. It was a fan thing. Like, what am I talking about? Anyway, I just felt kind of the tension rising because if I actually got to ask my question, it would have been so fucking jarring and awkward, and the crowd was much bigger than I thought.
That's why it would have been great.
I was picturing more like a nice fireside chat with the Weasley. This was like a fucking huge crowd full of people, and it was already really weird. Like,
Of course. How old are these movies? I mean, this is a crowd of either children or, adults who have undergone some sort of arrested development. I mean, they're not normal people. Other than your good self, obviously.
yeah,
Present company
I was-
excluded.
I'm
I think they might have been a bit
super
weird.
normal, but,
Yeah,
everyone
it would have
else was a bit of a weirdo.
Well, you had a normal reason to go because you have a Harry Potter podcast and you'd lost money by buying tickets to Wowza
My
Entertainment.
motivations were pure. I was
Strictly
interested
legal.
in the truth. I don't know how many other people there, frankly, were interested in the truth.
Well, that's right. How many people in that audience do you think were there for justice, other than your good self?
Yeah, if you just ballpark figure.
Yeah, there was one family all dressed like Sailor Moon that I think were quite interested in justice. Just
Okay.
And fighting evil by moonlight.
yeah, but
Yeah,
other than
yeah,
that,
Never running from a
mostly-
real fight.
Mostly not. So yeah. Anyway, the question I had in mind was basically I was going to stand up and say, I was a ticket holder for the Wowza event. I haven't been given a refund. Wowza says that's
imagine the
because
guy.
you got big deposits that you refuse to refund. Is this true? But then
I
I
demand satisfaction.
thought that was too fucking awkward. So then I changed it to like, I was going to say this one's a two-parter. Firstly, I'm a ticket holder. Where's my deposit money? And then secondly, what's Remus Lupin like IRL or some
on set.
Interesting, you go in hard and then soft, not sort of the traditional way in interviews where they soften up the subject and then finish with the hard question.
Yeah, but unfortunately, so I made eye contact with the MC many times and like waved him over and everything. But
That must be so
call
weird
it-
just staring at him.
It was weird. It was weird for both of us.
Very odd that he didn't choose you after maniacally making eye contact with him.
Menacingly staring him down from across the room. So how long was the Q&A, Nath?
The Q&A was about an hour.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ. You, didn't get
Felt
one,
like
you
it
couldn't
was
get
that
one
hour back.
question in an hour.
Dude, there was a lot of wasted time. There was so much wasted time. George Weasley, I think, told a story about when he broke his wand on set, of course, and
That's easily replaced.
the crowd was in hysterics. Like, it fucking killed.
He had them eating out of the palm of his hand. Oh, when George Weasley started, spinning a yarn, take your seat, because there is no greater orator than George Weasley.
That time he broke the wand, and then the props producer came over and hastily replaced it with a replacement wand they had ready, because they would often break the wands, as it was quite a physical movie.
That was literally the story room. Were you there? Sorry.
Oh, it was so embarrassing.
But I am ashamed to say that I didn't, get to ask my question. I didn't get to meet the Weasleys. We're still in the dark. I wasted the whole day. I had to cancel plans, actually, with Podfile Rick. Was meant to go to his house.
Weren't you going to watch the Doggies Tigers game?
Yeah, no, missed that. Missed the whole first half, actually.
Did you actually not see the Doggies Tigers game because of that?
I caught a bit of the second half.
Oh, my God.
Because once I paid my $30, I was like, maybe I'll wander around and, see what Paddy's Market has to offer. But even that, there was like one guy dressed like Batman.
I saw you got a photo with him.
Yeah, but even that was like, I don't know if you remember Parks and Rec when Ben Wyatt just dressed as Batman. This is the awkwardest dude, like miserable inside, but in a very elaborate costume.
How did you talk us through the approach and how you ended up taking a selfie with this strange man-child?
I mean, it was mainly for you guys, to be honest, and I guess Potiphar Rick. Because I cancelled plans.
Oh, yeah, he would love that. Oh, that would really make it all better. Oh, sorry for completely bailing on you, but your heart will be warmed
Here's
by
a
this
photo
picture.
of me with a psycho.
I think it meant the world to him. No, people were taking photos, like very sad people, not kids. The woman who went before me was probably 65, I reckon. So,
there was
really grim. Really
I went
grim.
to like one of the actual
depressing.
flashy ones. My sister has what a fucking sibling power couple. My sister has a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, would you fucking believe?
Yeah. It's pretty famous as well. It's a pretty big podcast.
It is pretty big. It's called Dragon Friends. A lot of
plug it.
nerds probably aware of it. But they they've been to like America and do all the big comic conventions or whatever, and so this is like a proper good one. Like it was in the Melbourne Exhibition Centre or something. And I tell you what you couldn't escape, and I was happily to indulge, was that there was so many slutty, sexy, like borderline pornographic, like cosplay. All the cosplay was not PG friendly. I'll tell you that much. It was like big old titties popping out and a lot of
titties,
flesh.
Yeah, see, I didn't even get that. Yeah, didn't even get that. I was there by myself. I would have looked like the fucking biggest pedo ever if that was the case. But anyway, it does pose a question. If you were going to go to a big like Comic-Con event as a slutty Harry Potter character, who are you picking? Who's the biggest slut?
Jeez.
In HP?
Probably...
Okay, well,
Probably Flitwick.
The tripod himself, Professor Flitwick.
Yeah. The pogo stick, they call him.
Well, I would say now, as a member of the queer community, that I'd have to go as Gellert Grindelwald. And I'd wear arseless chaps. And that
he's one of those
mesh thing that everyone wears
gays.
for some reason.
I'd go Gellert Grindelwald as a member of the village people. So like, or like full Dumbledore hat, but then with a policeman's cap on the top.
Yeah. Just in a high-vis vest. Very cool.
Wow. Well, hey, Nath, I just want to say a huge thank you on behalf of me and Andrew for two reasons. Firstly, you've bought us 20 minutes on the podcast, and that's invaluable. We're at a phase where Andrew's moving house. Just waning interest, I guess. So not coming with a lot of content. So if nothing else, thank you for 20 minutes where we can just sit back really and not do anything, but also of course for spending your money and your precious Sundays going to this idiotic thing for no reason at all. No benefit to the
I guess
podcast.
that's the part that hurts the most, even more than the massive waste of time and money. The fact that I had any motivation to do it.
It says a lot about you, and it's not
And the
all
journey
good.
you're on. No. Yeah, I mean, other. Yeah, I mean, other. Yeah, I mean, other. Yeah, I mean, other. Yeah, I mean,